Hello beautiful people, welcome, you're all welcome. My name is Remy and I want to thank you for tuning into my video. This is the first of many and my goal is to share my artistic journey with you. If that sounds interesting, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. If you do enjoy this video, I'd appreciate a like, a share and a comment down below. Your feedback, whether positive or constructive, will help me improve and create even better content for you. Also excited to use this platform as a way to reignite my love for art. Back in primary school, I was always drawing. It was my thing. And art was definitely my favourite subject. I kept that passion alive through my teens, even taking it as one of my A-levels in college. But after that, apart from a few paintings I did for friends, I barely picked up a pencil or a paintbrush to create artwork for nearly a decade. Now, I would say I'm ready to dive back in and rediscover that creative spark. This takes us to 2021. Lockdown arrives and we are all locked in our homes. I can't go anywhere. At this point, I decided to try and rediscover the joy that art gave me when I was younger. But to be honest, and this sounds kinda lazy, the thought of cleaning up paintbrushes was enough to put me off creating an artwork. So I researched how to create digital art. And that's where this time lapse comes in. I was searching for inspiration, something to paint, and as I often do, I listened to music whilst working. That's how I discovered this song, Miss Whoever by the rapper called Saba. The song cover immediately caught my eye, and I thought it would be cool to paint, but with a little twist. I bought myself an XP Pen Artist 12 Pro around February 2021. In case you didn't know, it's a graphics tablet that connects to a PC or a laptop and acts as a monitor with a screen that you can draw on. I was already very familiar with Photoshop as I used it a lot during my undergraduate degree in architecture. So that was the software and hardware covered. I don't know who the photographer or artist behind the single cover is, so if you do know, please share their name in the comments. I'd love to see more of their work. One of the things I really like about this artwork is the bold use of primary colours and how they are arranged in the composition. Blue dominating the left, red covering the right, and warm yellow tones filling the top. It's a nice balance. I had the original image on a separate screen so I could refer to it at all times. I find it pretty much impossible to draw from memory. I started by sketching out the line work from the original image, and the little twist was the only real difference that I knew I was going to make, and that was to replace the retro red telephone with an iPhone. I felt like it would make the artwork a bit more relatable, as most of us have iPhones, which is ironic considering I've always had a Samsung phone. Apart from that change, I tried to keep everything else from the original single cover art the same. Doing the sketch first allows me to use the lines as a guide for the painting process, which I think makes things easier compared to going straight in with colour. I only used a hard brush for the sketch, but I varied the size of the brush depending on the areas I was sketching. For example, the smaller sizes would be used for the majority of the sketch, and the thicker sizes would be used to block in where shadows were. The hard brush is the one where the edges are not feathered, so it creates a solid, consistent brush stroke. Here I'm colouring up the blue jacket. I'm using different shades of blue to mimic what I could see from the original image. Darker blues or navy tones are used for the creases and folds of the jacket, and then slightly lighter blues on the parts that are more exposed to the light. At this stage, I'm still using the hard brush, but with the pressure sensitivity on, as this allows me to change the opacity of each brush stroke as I paint. I can press harder if I want the opacity to be closer to 100% opaque, or I can press lightly, which makes the opacity much less, making the colour more transparent. Because the background is white, it makes the colours with less opacity look lighter. using a much bigger brush size in order to block in the blue over the larger area. Then I blend it in by using different tones of blue and different opacities, which makes it look like the colours are blended together. There are probably better ways to blend colours digitally, so if you know a better way, don't be shy, let me know in the comments so I can improve. In the same way, I hope my explanation so far has been helpful to you. Sometimes when painting, I like to have the line layer off as it can confuse me a bit when I'm trying to blend the colours. So switching it off helps me to see the colours I'm working with a bit clearer. One of the unique benefits of digital painting is being able to use the lasso tool. On Photoshop, this can be activated by pressing the L key on the keyboard. And with the lasso tool, you can draw around something you want to select, and once that area is selected, you can then edit it. For example, I drew a selection around the fingertip because I wanted to move it to the right a little bit, making the finger a little bit shorter. I then painted over where they overlapped to blend it back in with the rest of the fingertip. I have to remind myself to zoom out from time to time so I can check the progress of the drawing. I have a tendency to dwell on details often, which is time consuming, and for the most part those little tweaks aren't even noticeable. But it's all part of the process, and as I keep up with this form of painting, I'm sure I'll find a way to do it more efficiently. Looking back at this painting, I can see that the fingers look a bit long and skinny compared to the original, so that's one of many things I would try to improve upon if I was to paint this again. One thing I realised after painting this is that I can have a duplicate window of the project open either split screen or on another monitor. I can then set up that window to show the entire canvas. This would allow me to see the bigger picture quickly by just looking at the other window rather than zooming out of the screen I'm working on. To do this, you would go to Window on the menu bar in Photoshop, then click Arrange and then click New Window. Here I use the magic lasso tool, which is similar to the normal one, but the difference being is that it automatically detects and selects edges as you draw. So it's easier to use when there's a clear edge to follow. I wanted the phone screen selected to try and capture some reflection of the jacket, but I think I went a bit too overboard with the opacity because now you can't even see it. Adding highlights and shadows really brings pictures to life and makes them feel more realistic. Sometimes that part can be tricky, but what helps is to think about where the light is coming from, then lightening the areas that it hits and darkening the spots it doesn't reach. I think I could have improved by blending the hand a little better, but I'm still happy with how it turned out. Before we wrap this video up, I just wanted to let you know that there will be some traditional acrylic paintings and also pencil sketches coming to this channel in the future. But for now, the main focus is progressing my digital art journey and hopefully helping others to do the same. If you want to stay updated on what I'm working on, check out my social media links in the description. I also take commissions, so if you're looking for a custom art piece, whether as a gift or just for yourself, feel free to reach out and we can bring your ideas to life. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace and stay blessed.